So will the recent Signalgate scandal trigger a massive downfall for the Trump administration? Legendary Democratic strategist James Carville made this bold prediction just a month ago.
I believe that this administration, in less than 30 days, in the midst of a massive collapse, and particularly a collapse in public opinion.
If I admit that there is a level of Trump derangement syndrome on the left, will you admit that this shit is also deranged? All the people... All the people on the right who say they certainly don't agree with me on everything, but they respect the way I keep it real about the left and like me because I'm honest, well, that's a two-way street. Are you being honest?
All right, you all buckle up, because we're diving into some spicy political prophecy today. So check this out. Legendary Democratic strategist James Carville, you know, the Ragin Cajun behind Bill Clinton's win, and even Bill Maher, both came out swinging with bold prediction. They said, Trump's new administration, yeah, it's gonna collapse within 30 days. Not eventually. And what triggered this ticking time bomb? A little thing called Signalgate, plus the usual cocktail of chaos, scandals, and straight-up dysfunction. Now, Carville's not backing down, even if it hasn't totally crumbled yet. He says the collapse is already in motion, like we're watching the building fall in real time, brick by brick. So, is he a prophet? Let's break it down.
Campaign victory. So a month ago, here's the full quote of what you wrote, James, in the Times. At this rate, the honeymoon, the Trump honeymoon, will be over. Best case by Memorial Day, but more likely in the next 30 days. And in November of 2025, we start turning the tide with what will be remembered as one of the most important elections in recent years, the Virginia governor's race. You know that we extended this invitation to you a month ago when you first wrote those words, because we thought, what will Carville say when that deadline comes? What are you thinking?
Well, what tense are we on? Is it collapsing or has it collapsed? That's the only argument to have. And I was wrong. I said Memorial Day is before April Fool's Day, which the Trump administration should make a national holiday because it so accurately represents who they are. So I'm not really, we're not arguing when we look at what's happening in the markets. We look at what's happening on Signalgate. We look at what's happening all around us, treating measles with apricot pits or something like that. I think the thing is collapsed, but I'll go to you. Let's take the middle ground here and say it's collapsing, and I'll meet you halfway.
Carville doesn't just think the Trump administration is messy. He straight up calls it dangerous. We're talking full-on buffoonery, folks. He's looking at people like Stephen Miller running foreign policy and basically saying, y'all, is this real life? Like, imagine casting a high school drama club to run a country and then handing them the nuclear codes. Carville is not just roasting individuals here. He's issuing a full-blown warning. The rule of law is breaking down. Democratic norms are getting bulldozed, and the grown-ups have left the room. He's painting a picture where we're not just watching bad politics. We're watching the system itself start to rot from the inside. And that's why, in his eyes, this isn't the time for business as usual. It's DEFCON level dysfunction, and he's sounding the alarm.
Harry Enton, I really respect his opinion. He crunches numbers for us here at CNN, and he spoke to Trump and right track, wrong track numbers. Let's roll the clip and then have James respond. Go ahead.
Sure.
All we talk about is how unpopular Donald Trump is. But in reality, he's basically more popular than he was at any point in term number one, and more popular than he was when he won election back in November of 2024.
I mean, James, to have these numbers and be any other newly inaugurated president, you'd be regarded as a disaster. But for him, doesn't Harry have a point? His base is holding, and as compared to his other numbers, he's doing quite well.
Well, he's a mathematical genius. He knows algorithms. He knows regression analysis. He can look at things. Myself, I'm a humble political consultant. What I look at is election returns. Yeah, voters voting. If you notice, Trump couldn't put Stefanik as UN ambassador because they were scared they were going to lose a district that Trump carried by 20. I'm going to read the election returns in Wisconsin on Tuesday night. I'm not going to do a regression analysis or anything or complicated mathematical formula. So I guess what it comes down to, I'm just too dumb because I'm a guy that believes that winning elections is the most important thing there is in the United States.
Okay, now here's where things get real interesting. While Carville's out here waving the Trump collapse flag like it's halftime at a Mardi Gras parade, CNN data wizard Harry Enton goes, hold up a second. According to the numbers, and we're talking legit poll data, Trump's approval isn't just holding steady, it's actually looking better than it did during parts of his first term. Like for real, the guy's popularity is up, not down. So what gives? How can Carville talk about a total implosion while the numbers show Trump's base is still solid? He's like, forget the polls, I trust election results. And he's got a point. Republicans are so spooked, they wouldn't even risk appointing someone like Elise Stefanik to the UN because they were afraid of losing a district Trump won by 20 points. Behind the scenes, even the GOP knows the ground under their feet is shaky. So yeah, the polls might say one thing, but the election chessboard tells a whole other story. Who's right? That's the million-dollar question.
When you wrote in the Times and you spoke of rolling over and playing dead, you said, allow the Republicans to crumble beneath their own weight and make the American people miss us. But if the approval rating of the Democratic Party is at 29%, according to CNN's data, who's missing Democrats right now? They might be upset with Trump, but who's really missing the Democrats?
Well, first of all, this is a glorious opportunity for the Democratic Party to redefine itself, to take this as what it is. And apparently some people in the news media are not. It's the gravest crisis we've had in the United States in the last 80 years. You understand what we're looking at? We're looking at the kind of end of the rule of law. We're looking at nincompoops and blockheads and buffoons running the country. And if Democrats, and again, I had no idea. I thought I'd have to wait longer for the imminent collapse. It happened even faster than I could imagine. So I don't know exactly what we're arguing about. They won't run in a plus 20 district. I don't think they're going to do that well in Wisconsin. Let's see what happens in Florida. But you got people that represent states and congressional districts that have a 15, 20 or more partisan lean to the Democrats, and they're a kind of motor mouth caucus. You know, get elected governor of Georgia, then I'll be impressed. Or do as my friend Andy Beshear did, get elected governor of Kentucky, then come back and see me. But
okay,
I think the party can redefine itself.
James Carville. Yes, that James Carville dropped a New York Times op-ed that basically told Democrats to do the unthinkable, roll over and play dead. No, seriously, that was the strategy. And before you freak out, here's the logic behind it. Carville thinks the Republicans are running the country like a clown car on fire. And if Democrats just step back, the GOP will implode under the weight of their own chaos. Like, let the circus act crash and burn while the American people sit there going, dang, remember when we had functioning adults in charge? It's political rope-a-dope, y'all. Carville saying don't swing wildly, just duck cover and let them self-destruct. Then swoop in later like, told you so. Risky move? Oh, absolutely. But in his eyes, it's the only way to let voters miss the Democrats. But here's the real question. Can the public miss a party that's practically hiding behind the curtains?
Still staying focused now on your side of the aisle. Here's what Governor Newsom said last night to Bill Maher. Roll it.
We just have to continue to talk to ourselves, or we're in the same damn echo chamber. These guys are crushing us. The Democratic brand is toxic right now. We had a high water mark 2 weeks ago, and that was a CNN poll at 29% favorability. It's dropped in the NBC poll down to 27%. It's one thing to make noise, but you also have to make sense.
He says the Democratic brand is toxic right now. What are Democrats doing to fill the vacuum or the void that Trump is leaving open?
Well, let's see how toxic it is in Wisconsin, all right? I mean, the toxicity is relative to your opponents. The second thing is, I'm not going to get bent out of shape about the party rating in March of an odd number year. Let's see what happens in Virginia. Let's see what happens when we have these really, really talented people run for president. This whole thing is, and the Democrats, they went 27, what they going to do? They have a chance to redefine themselves, to talk about issues that matter to people, and get away from this it is, see, this plus 25 Democratic identity politics, which hurt us more than anything. But I think we're away from that. And I think you see some real talent. But it doesn't matter what the party rating is. What matters are elections. I cannot drive that point home enough. There did a movie about me, and I love the title, Winning is Everything, Stupid. And the reason people don't like the Democrats is we didn't win. And until we win, I'm not going to like the Democrats.
All right, that's it for today's breakdown. If you made it this far, you're a real one. Thanks for hanging out with me and diving into the chaos of politics, culture, and everything in between. If you enjoyed this, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next drop. Drop a comment. I read all of them, even the spicy ones. Appreciate you all, and I'll catch you in the next one.